Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today on the Dungeon Dive, we are going to do a 2022 year in review. This video is going to be separated into mainly three parts. We're going to do some housekeeping and introspection. We will talk a little bit about what we did on the channel in 2022. Then I will go into my favorite gaming experiences of 2022 and looking forward to 2023. So let's kick things off with some housekeeping, some introspection. 2022 was a pretty important year for the Dungeon Dive. It's the year that I went part-time. I am working on this channel 3 days a week at about 30 hours a week. If you like what I do, if you like what I provide, please remember to like and comment. It really does help a lot. It helps with that engagement with YouTube. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons at the Dungeon Dive Patreon. I really can't believe the support that they've given me this year. Speaking of the Patreon, some of the rewards I am working on, I'm about halfway through with a Dungeon Synth album. I have released one track of that album on the channel. So that will be exclusive to patrons for a few months and then sold on Bandcamp. And that will be done by March of 2023. Right now, there is a timed exclusive t-shirt up for patrons of a certain level, and that is based on some game art created for Pauper's Ladder. That will then go to TeePublic and will be available for purchase to the public. And then there will be another exclusive t-shirt design that will be up for that. I have released a little RPG tool system for NoteQuest to the Dungeon Dive patrons, and I'm working on a small booklet, zine-style book full of tips, tricks, and systems that I've created for solo role-playing. I wish I had one full day to devote to writing and to Patreon stuff, but that just can't happen right now if I want to continue releasing at least 3 videos a week. You can help by becoming a patron. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, so if you can, watch, comment, like, share with other communities that you interact with. So I don't cover a lot of the big kind of new hotness games, and those are easy to get clicks, easy to generate traffic with, and I just don't cover a lot of those games anymore. So this kind of like grassroots support really does help. So in 2022 on the channel, we released over 180 videos at an average of about 30 minutes. That's like 90 hours of information and entertainment. That's pretty cool. That's more than any TV show does in a year, except for like a soap opera. We kicked off Solo RPG Friday. That has been a lot of fun, along with a continuing series called Alone Together with Perplexing Ruins and the Dungeon Dive. Those conversations have been great. I am really looking forward to seeing how my conversations with Alan evolve and change over time and the kind of topics that we discuss. We had some great interviews this year with Dustin Freund, the creator of Ghost Betwixt, Roger Deering, the creator of Dungeon Crusade, Rob Lemon, the creator of Dark Venture, and James Hewitt, the creator of Silver Tower and Hellboy. Okay, now let's look back at my favorite gaming experiences of 2022. Now, this is not necessarily new games released in 2022. I don't play enough new games to make a meaningful top 10 new games list. So these are just, when I looked back at the year, when I looked back at all of the videos that I had created, these were the things that stood out. So number 10 is Familiar Tales from Plaid Hat and Jerry Hawthorne. That Familiar Tales has that magical quality of effortless fun. It is so easy to get into. I loved the atmosphere of the game. The mechanisms are solid. They're easy to learn and easy to apply. The reason this isn't higher is because I just haven't played enough of it. But I plan on playing the entire campaign in 2023 and doing a little retrospective of that experience. Fantastic game from Jerry Hawthorne. Jerry Hawthorne's best game. It's kind of like the game he's been working towards for quite a long time. Okay, at number 9, we have Broken Cask from Derek Kamal. So it's no secret that I love taverns and inns, especially fantasy taverns and inns in games. And this little game allows the player to manage a fantasy tavern, complete with regular patrons, heroes, quests, strange events, and some light sim style management. I'm really looking forward to the follow up, Broken Cask Society, in which you play a person kind of making a travel book, going from one tavern to the next, looking for that great inn, looking for that great tavern with the great ale and food and all of that. That sounds super, super cool. We will be taking a look at that soon. Number 8 is Wayward, and that is from Hearst Arts Fantasy Architecture Incorporated. So Wayward is an indie board game at its finest. It is a dead simple game. It's a kind of an arcade-like score chaser, all wrapped around a dungeon crawl theme, with some of the best board art I've ever seen. It's super fun. It is the ultimate beer and pretzel dungeon crawl. I had so much fun with Wayward, and I know that my video caused quite a few sales, so I'm not sure if it's still available or not. And if it is, I do highly, highly recommend Wayward. Okay, number 7 was my time spent with Mork, Borg, and Solitary Defilement. Mork Borg is from Pelle Nilsson and Johan Noor, and Free League Publishing. And Solitary Defilement is a solo and co-op system from ID 1d10 plus 5. So getting into Morkboard, playing it more as a co-op and a solo game, and diving deeper into the tons of third-party releases has just been an amazing experience in 2022. Morkborg is this giant world of dark, twisted fantasy, but it also has this really wicked sense of humor that I absolutely love. I love how simple all the game systems are. I love all of the fan-created content. There's just a wealth of content and interesting content created for Morkborg. And I'm also slowly kind of starting to get into Forbidden Psalms. So look forward to some Forbidden Psalms coverage on the Dungeon Dive in the future. Okay, number 6 here is Talisman RPG, Talisman Adventure RPG from Pegasus Spiel. This is one of the biggest surprises of the year. I never thought this would be anything but kind of another typical high fantasy Me Too RPG. Just another kind of Dungeons and Dragons wannabe. But it has a ton to offer, especially to the soloist. It has a very interesting 3d6 system with a light and dark fate system. Both of those things inspired me to create my own Oracle and Fate system that I'll be sharing on the channel soon. And then I love the strangers and the followers, how NPCs add kind of just concrete mechanical purpose for existing in the game. It's a very gamey RPG. And it really does feel like Talisman. They captured the essence of Talisman perfectly. One problem I am having with it is scaling the combat encounters for a single PC. That is one issue. Number 5 is Hexplore, Domain of Mirza Noctis. And this is from Kat Kamandri, Nathan Luz, and Jonathan Mariucci. I'm so glad that my love for this game returned after I was pretty intensely disappointed with Sands of Shirax. They dialed back the complexity, they dialed back the number of win conditions, and they focused more accurately on the adventure. The new dungeon crawl subsystem is fantastic, and the commitment to theme is really off the charts. Highly recommended, especially if you like blood. Okay, number 4 is a tool system. It's a system for solo role-playing, and that is Untold Encounters of the Random Kind from Loke Battlemats. This is a highly, highly valuable tool for creating hex crawls and adventures, especially for the solo RPG player. It has many hundreds of encounters set in urban, wilderness, and dungeon locations. along with all of the rules you need to construct adventures set in these regions. It has traps, it has treasure, boons, banes, all kinds of random things that you can just experience and roll up very, very quickly while you are playing. It's more focused on high fantasy and a fairy tale like setting, and I would love to see this exact book, but just a little more focused on some darker themes. I don't need it to be grim dark or anything like that, but just a little less high fantasy, maybe a little more focused on some sword and sorcery style encounters. Okay, so number 3 is playing Shadows of Brimstone as a solo RPG with Hexcrawl. And Shadows of Brimstone is, of course, from Flying Frog Productions, and Hexcrawl is from BGG user Pattern. So I just released my series. You saw that about a week ago, and playing Shadows of Brimstone in that way was the most fun I have ever had with Shadows of Brimstone, bar none. I cannot believe how well it worked. I cannot believe how effortless the changes were. And I can't believe how well informed all of the components were towards becoming a solo RPG, becoming more of an RPG. You really could, they really could, Flying Frog really could release Shadows of Brimstone just in a book, just as a standard RPG with a character sheet. All of those cards could become tables and charts, and I don't think much would be missing from the game. Maybe all of the inspiring art and the stuff, and that really is what kind of, I think, makes Shadows of Brimstone so easy to play in the way that I played it, is because all of that stuff, all of the tangible things that you pick up and look at, they really do inspire me to play the game in that way. It's already so close to being an RPG. I just kind of nudged it a little further in that direction and had a blast doing so. Number 2 is Pauper's Ladder from Paul Stapleton and Bedsit Games. This is one of the single most pleasant experiences I've ever had playing a board game. It's King Crimson meets Genesis meets Fairport Convention, the game. It's a game full of whimsical adventures, random encounters, quests, birds, and paupers trying to make something of their lives. Just a wonderful experience, and I am so glad to be introduced to Paul's world of gaming. And finally, at number 1, we have the Lands of Galzyr from Seppo Kuksfarl and Sammy Laxo from Snowdale Design. I am very sorry. I totally butchered your names. I know that. But Lands of Galzyr is just a marvel of design and execution. It is the pinnacle of effortless fun. I could seriously pull this game off the shelf right now and be playing in a matter of minutes and have a grand and marvelous time of questing in a magical, beast epic world. If you like things such as Watership Down, Wind in the Willows, Redwall, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, After the Bomb, Book of the Dun Cow, and Secret of Nim, this is the game for you. The ease of play, I can't overstate how easy the game is to play and how much fun it offers. You can play the game solo, you can play the game co-op, you can play the game competitively, you can mix and match any of those modes at any time. You can add a player, you can take away a player. The save system, it literally takes like 2 minutes to save and reset up the game. Just what a great game. I'm hoping that some of my criticisms in my initial review for the game, I'm hoping that the designers kind of take those to heart, because I really think they could push this game into being like a top 10 of all time for me. Fantastic game. Okay, so looking forward really quickly to 2023, I really do want to write more. I want to spend more time writing. I want to write at least 2 game supplements and make more progress on my own game, and I do need to make time for that. This is the first year that I haven't really kept a list of games I'm looking forward to. My activity on crowdfunding for big games has almost completely dried up. They're just becoming too expensive, too big, too much stuff, and too many delays for me to really pay attention. One game I am really looking forward to, of course, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be delivering soonish, is League of Dungeoneering. I am looking forward to discovering more smaller games, more indie games, and more solo RPG stuff for sure. Kind of scouring the digital shelves of Drive-Thru RPG, Drive-Thru Cards, and itch.io, finding and discovering those gems hidden on those digital shelves. I'm looking forward to taking my Shadows of Brimstone experience and applying that to other board games. And I think Eldritch Horror would be a perfect candidate to do something like that with. In 2023, I'm also planning on doing at least two deep dive series. One is going to be a deep dive into Runebound 2nd edition, and the other is going to be a deep dive into Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 3rd edition. And maybe, finally, I'll get around to covering Dunguneers. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed all of the videos I made for you in 2022. And thank you for the support. Thank you for the continued support in 2023. And I really can't wait to see what kind of awesome experiences we have next year. Take it easy. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.